The Madman!
Welcome to another episode of Murloc Holmes and the Murder at Castle Nathria. Revendreth hardly comes to mind when you talk of cathedrals, does it? And yet, there is. The Cathedral of Atonement. Once it was a symbol of Revendreth's sincere mission to help save souls, but in recent times, well, not so much. Was it the noble past or the unscrupulous present that drew Pelagos here? Cathedral of Atonement. Inspirational haunting music. I regret to tell you, Mr. Holmes, no one accompanied me or saw me here. I came to meditate on the rumors that Sire Denathrius was hoarding anima. That is all. Is it? Why did you choose the Cathedral of Atonement unless you had something to atone for? Because it's the only cathedral in Revendreth. Oh, never mind. Murgle Blabcog! Murgle Brackblerg? If Sire Denathrius truly did cause the anima drought and he confronted me, then quite honestly, I do not know what I would do. With the grounds explored, it was time to return to Castle Nathria and investigate what transpired within that dread place. More specifically, within the kitchen. Kitchens are associated with nourishment and warmth, fellowship. They also have quite a lot of sharp knives and boiling liquids and fire, and, well, you get the idea. It seems like every party winds up in the kitchen, doesn't it? Can't you at least tell us if you've eliminated anyone thus far? Yerp. Blergly Gak Murgle. Erlon looks tired. Would you like something soothing? Here, drink this. Gold goblet. Murgle! Glabble Brack! A slap. Then the goblet crashes to the floor. Everyone gasps. Ow, that hurt my hand. Murgle! Yes, I do indeed have holy spice in my kitchen. And yes, I am aware it is bad for Venthyr like Sire. But I personalize goblets to be extra safe. He's right. There's a cute little medallion around the stem that says, Arelon, this is for you. Ooh. But, Stuart, I overheard you saying you had something special prepared for Sire Denathrius. Yes. Here, smell. Black. Yes, garlic. I am certain Mr. Holmes knows that it is harmless to Venthyr such as Sire, who loved it. Who? Glarby Murgle? Begah? Gobblurgle? I was in the Nightcloak Sanctum. It's a private room, but if you insist, Mr. Holmes. The Nightcloak Sanctum, an exclusive place for private conversations, plans, plots, and also for safely stashing some darn fun things or wacky, wholesome fun. I may not be the nicest person, but I am loyal. After the toast, Denathrius asked me to come to the sanctum and find something we would need for the after-dinner conviviality. He said it was important. Blargly? This classic board game. Rattle of pieces inside a cardboard box, cheesy music a la 1980s board game commercials. Murgle, Glep Blarg Murg. Me. Well, while that horrible deed was being done to my very good and dear friend Sire Denathrius, I was just walking around, you know, innocently. Black Blarg? Murgles. The library? Oh, we don't need to go there. Library doors, footsteps lead us there. The library, a place for books and secrets, and maybe a nap. Oh, so this is the door to the library. Murgle? Gleeble? Bursk? Why are you whispering? Shh! It's a library! This is definitely not a piece of my wrapping caught in the door. No, wait, don't open! I knew I smelled smoke. I saw Rafaam on fire, but there was no time to get water. I'm relieved you are all right. It was burned when I got... Poof. Fellfire. Imp chatters. Rafaam sighs. Alright, it was me. Them. I confess fully, I was trying to steal a tome of rare spells. I did it. You buffoon! That's not what you were being accused of. You've just confessed to stealing from and burning the library for nothing. But you did provide your alibi regarding Sire Denathrius. What? I mean, yes! Look, my wrappings are still smoking a little bit. See? We hear the sound of flames and Rafaam slapping himself to put them out. Now it was time to descend into Castle Nathria's twisted heart. First the vault, and then the sanguine depths. Alright. What did we learn from this? So let's talk about Pelagos. So he was at the Cathedral of Atonement, was praying alone in the Cathedral of Atonement. He admits that if Denathrius confronted him, then he doesn't know what he would do. But this does seem like it was a very premeditated murder. So he sounds right. That sounds legit. Okay, the kitchen gives the info that we mostly knew already. But there's a little more detail about this goblet, this very important goblet. I personalized goblets to be extra safe. So Stuart, the steward, has a special goblet for everyone. We know that the goblet that Denathrius was supposed to use had that purple gem on it, the one he used to toast everyone, but the one on the ground is a dull bronze one. The Nightcloak's Sanctum. So I guess we get Kel'Thuzad's alibi. After the toast, Denathrius asked me to come to the sanctum and find something we'd need. For the after-dinner conviviality, he said it was important. This alibi, apparently, is Kel'Thuzad met up with Denathrius later. And then Denathrius was like, yo, we're gonna need some board games, dog. Which is awesome. So if this is true, that would mean the last known person to meet Denathrius was Kel'Thuzad. And then apparently Rafaam has a good alibi. Rafaam was stealing from the library. And there's a piece of wrapping caught in the door. I saw Rafaam on fire, but there was no time to get water. So I guess Stuart did see Rafaam. So you can kind of get a visual image that the library, I suppose, is near the Great Hall. Alright, it was me, or them. I confess fully, I was trying to steal a tome of rare spells. I did it. It seems like a weird, clarification. Denathrius and Kel'Thuzad said they were planning evil things. Maybe he wasn't getting a board game and was plotting something outside of this murder. Strengthens his alibi. Yeah, that's a fairly good point. We have that in our notes somewhere. Let's see. Kel'Thuzad, reasons not to kill, schemed with Denathrius. Trusted enough for board games? So the Pelagos one, this is a tone read. It sounded like he genuinely doesn't know what would happen if he was confronted by Denathrius. Rafaam seems to have the most airtight alibi so far. He was on fire in the library trying to steal a book and saw by Stuart. I saw Rafaam on fire, but there was no time to get water. Why was there no time to get water? I guess Stuart was running around after he saw the murder. I may not be the nicest person, but I am loyal. That's true. We know that. Loyalty. I kind of believe Kel'Thuzad quite a bit. I'm gonna put him in the green category. And then we learned a few things about the goblets. Let's see. Everyone has personalized goblets, comma. We know that the one seen with the body seemed different. Which is also weird that Stuart did not find it, unusual. Because he should know the goblets. I feel like Stuart is too obvious to be the killer, but I'm gonna downgrade him into only light trust color. I have light trust for Aralon also. We can see also by Murloc Holmes screaming about this goblet. Murloc Holmes must suspect that drinking from the goblet is dangerous. Well, this is the case. Kel'Thuzad can be seen drinking. I guess that's his personal goblet. And the other person drinking was, I believe, Draka. So that's why they have different goblets, because everyone's got their own unique goblet. I see. The Nathrius was maybe poisoned from someone else's goblet. An accident meant for someone else. That would be an interesting idea. I could see it. Man, Zymox has really been very unremarkable so far. Got like no info about him. It's always the quiet ones. Not always. Too quiet to be suspicious, maybe. Currently, the person that I feel is most middle to have murdered someone would be Cecily. So if I was going off of the theory that it's always the person you most middle suspect, it would be Cecily. I guess I can separate out the people who were like outside versus the people who were inside, because that might help. Outside or inside? Stuart was inside, Zymox was inside, Rafaam was inside, Draco was outside, Olgra was inside, Vosh was outside, inside, outside, outside, outside. A nice little 5-5 split. In theory, Draka would have known about everyone on the outside. In theory, none of the people outside could enter inside because Draka was theoretically watching over to see if anyone re-entered. So it does make everyone outside less suspicious, but Draka didn't have mud on her boots, which means that maybe she wasn't keeping watch, which means it could have been someone outside. Which might be the perfect time for Cecily to creep in as the person I most middle suspect. I guess I'll add this random information that Sire Denathrius loved garlic. That is exactly the random type of detail which will probably be important later. Then the goblet crashes to the floor. Isn't this the exact wording as the murder? The crash of a goblet. I wonder if it's worth noting that the goblet only makes that sound if it's like being forcefully slapped from someone, because maybe if it just drops, it doesn't crash. If the goblet, like from Murloc Holmes here, crashed onto the floor only because it was forcefully slapped out of the hand, if someone were to get poisoned, it would like just casually drop onto the floor and maybe not crash onto the floor. So it seems like maybe poison isn't the murder. Really weird that we can't tell how the guy died, Denathrius. I don't think it's an accident that they use the exact same wording here. The goblet crashes to the floor when there is a panicked slap. So if you just dropped the goblet, it probably would not crash to the floor, therefore. I feel like a lot of this puzzle comes down to figuring out who is capable of killing Denathrius without poison, without an obvious cause of death. Why would Murloc Holmes slap the goblet away if poison wasn't in play? What if the goblet did have poison in it, but the cause of death is not actually poison and was another poison? That would be a pretty good twist. I'm just gonna write this down so I remember it. Theory: the goblet was poisoned, however, that was not the reason Denathrius died. Super big stretch right here. My storyteller instincts are leading me to this point. Denathrius couldn't have died through any typical means, such as getting killed by a weapon due to lack of marks. So who is able to do something like that? Like Artificer Zymox with some sort of artifact. If I'm ruling out Rafaam, Draka would have used poison. I don't think rogues can really do this. Shaman. So basically we're looking for a magic user, I guess. So Olga can't because she's a big dumb warrior. Vosh, a shaman. Cecily, a druid. Pelagos, a priest. Basically I'm going through the caster roles here. Shaman, druid, priest. Those are my top suspicions, I guess. And it keeps leading me back to the person I most middle suspect, which is Cecily. Chat's coming up with a pretty good theory that cause of death is draining of anima. And since part 4 is the last one, I might even add a very big last theory. Oh! Theory! In part 4, there will be the artifact that the Nathria is using to drain anima, and it will be missing. Oh! Because he is like collecting anima, or to collect anima or something. Now I don't know what that means, but anima can be drained without any instrument, but wouldn't it be particularly special to have something in the vault? Like, I feel like this might be Denathrius's plan, and it's what he's been doing. Because we look back at part 1, Sire Denathrius have been ruthlessly hoarding anima. How do you hoard anima? Theory, you use some sort of artifact to gather anima. And you would store said artifact in the vault. Maybe said artifact could be used as a weapon. Library doors, footsteps lead us there. Oh, so this is the door to the library. I'm confused. That is definitely not a piece of my wrapping caught in the door. So we know that like Rafaam in the cinematic was in some sort of secret passage. It feels like this is genuine surprise. This is the door to the library. I think Rafaam like entered the library from a different method, and then maybe he exited from the like front door, and he didn't recognize it because he left from inside the library. I think Rafaam is just a really terrible liar. Oh, so this is the door to the library. Okay, well actually, the fact that he's whispering this does mean that he does know it is the door to the library. That's true. Now, it is notable that everyone goes, shh. So Zymox seems to be the only one who doesn't know that this is a library. I wonder if that's important somehow. I'll just add that in random notes. Everybody except Zymox, Artificer Zymox, knows that this is a library, and you should be quiet near it. Now, this is something that I'm also not going to read too much into, but there is a Rafaam typo here, and this is a Pelagos typo, it seems. Bastion. People were saying that Pelagos was from Bastion. Weird typo. Okay, I think that's about all I'm going to get from part 3. We've scoured this for clues. Perhaps part 4 will hopefully give us all the information needed to solve the case, and hopefully not be so obvious that everyone gets the solve. Hopefully, at the end, it doesn't just go like, oh yeah, here's Murloc Holmes putting it all together. I don't know what will be included here, but if there is a portion where Murloc Holmes just basically explains the solve, I will try to solve it before we get the Murloc Holmes explanation.